So I had a new idea to try to get the pipe wrench on this back part here. So this is the governor. You can see the centrifugal weights open up, and so I'm going to pull this assembly off the shaft. You know, I was going to pull this out, but I don't know if it's timed, so I got to get a white paint pen. What the? I got it. It went up. I got it. Oh my god. Well, I just got the engine to break free after almost 2 years of trying. So I'm going to give it some lube because I want it to be lubed up and down in the cylinders while it travels. And I'm going to try to make a complete revolution. This is actually the second time I've lubed this up, so check it out, watch this. Might be able to do it without the bar now. Yes. Oh, something slipped. There must be a ridge there. There it is. Should probably check the oil too. I know it has oil in it, but spinning on that crankshaft. Oh yeah, we got loads of oil in there. Okay, let's try to make a complete rev. It's getting stuck on that lip. I might have to work it back and forth actually. Definitely hitting a hard spot there. Okay, let's see if we have a little ring ridge. Actually, no. I don't feel any ridges. Getting tight right there though, that's kind of weird. Not sure why it's so tight there. I don't want to break something if it's binding up either. Well, since there's something there, I might try going back up, even though it's like backwards, but see if we can clear whatever's in the way there, because it's getting really tough. Okay, I'm gonna chill for a second, then come back. Thumbs up though. Wasn't expecting that. Alright, I'm switching to the breaker bar because it started to get tight, and I want to go the other way, which would tighten everything. So I'm going to leave this here. Let's see if it'll move. It's still just tightening the bolt. Okay. Not ready for that yet. Give it a little more lube here. We want all the fighting chance we can get. We don't want this to dry rub and scratch. Okay, so I forgot to get my book. I wanted to see which direction this engine rotates, because I can't remember. I used to know. It barely fits on here. If I had one bigger, it might work, but it also might not fit. Okay. Oh, come on. We'll try it on the... Okay, so it's starting to get dark. I did tie the clutch down with a ratchet strap, just to make sure that that wasn't the thing that was causing this resistance. And I also looked up in my book and tried to find the direction of the engine rotation, which doesn't really matter. There were some parts where you're adjusting the timing where you can rotate it back and forth, so I'm not super concerned. I don't think I'm going to hurt anything. This is stuck. There it is. But the diesel engine goes counterclockwise from the direction of the flywheel, which would be this way. So I am going the opposite of the diesel engine, and in my head they probably go the same direction, the diesel and the gas. This is the gas engine. So I'm going to switch and try going that way now, if I can do it. Just because, and I can work back over the spot I just went past. So that'll be good to do also. So it's just a lot harder to get it to bite on this side, because I think I'm hitting this alternator thing, which I could actually take that off. I think I am hitting that. I took this thing apart like a year and a half ago, so it's gonna be a chore trying to figure out where everything goes. It's pretty simple. I mean, there's nothing compared to a modern engine, but when something goes away for that long, it's well out of your memory. Way easy at the top. Okay, the goal is to do a complete cycle. Oh, look at that. I'm wondering why it's so tight on the bottom. Sound great. Could be rust in the underneath the pistons. Might just be because the two middle ones haven't reached the top for a while. Well, that kind of skipped. That was weird. Let's keep going. That was a full rev. I don't like that. It like skips at the top of the middle two. Like a flat spot on the crank maybe? Tried brake fluid, automatic transmission fluid, DD blaster. So I'm confident there's more than enough lubrication in there. Okay, so I brought out the big guns, the big LED light that I have. I did get it to do a complete revolution last time, and these are decked, this is a deck liner is what they call it. Sorry, there's a proper term, but it's a deck cylinder liner. It doesn't have individual liners. They're all actually tied into this top deck. And I'm actually hoping I didn't warp it by doing these two things here. I should have done one on every spot. But I'm so far past that already, so. And the other problem I have here is I actually broke the seal underneath this cylinder deck. So I think I still have to take the pistons out. I'm gonna have to sleep on that one. But since I think I broke the seal under here, all these passages and cooling passages are gonna leak, because I do believe there is a cooling passage that goes to the head. Now if there isn't, and it's just oil, I would be less concerned, but with the coolant going through the block and up to the head, which is probably the case because the head needs cooled, I'm gonna have to pull this off, which means I gotta drop the oil pan and pop all the pistons out, and at that point I should probably put new rings on, hone this, and keep going. But the first step before I put any money into this was to get this thing free, and that's been the past year and a half to this day, basically right around a year and a half. So now that we have this thing spinning, and it's spinning with the pipe wrench, hold on, I can show you. There it goes. It's still really tight in the middle there. Once I get up here, watch, once I get past this, it's gonna free up. Oh, it's still hard. That's a weird spot. There it goes, super easy right there. Now I'm wondering, I might have rolled the, it's possible I rolled the bearings, wiped them on the crank, because it gets tight in that one spot, which it shouldn't. Right there. When it hits the top of the stroke, it skips. Then it gets real tight. I think it happened in the middle last time. Now it's happening in the top. Feels like it's building compression, actually, which it obviously isn't. But that's kind of the feeling. Right there. Skip again. So, that was like 2 revs. You saw kind of those hard spots. That makes me think I might have some crankshaft issues. So, I'm gonna grab some dinner, think about this, think about what to do, and do a little research and see if I do have coolant going up to the head, which I'm fairly certain. But what happened was, when I was originally trying to do this, I did get it to move, actually, but it didn't break the piston free started to move this cylinder deck up and I broke the seal. I was so mad because basically that means I have to pull out everything and reseal that, because you can't lift this up and seal under there. Because I think it has like a head gasket style gasket, unless it's metal or something, and it'll reseal on compression. So that's what I gotta figure out. And because I got it to turn over, I mean, now I can put some money into it. I'm gonna buy a head gasket. I already have a carb kit. I did break free and buy that. I guess I'll have to check the video too to see if this distributor is moving. Probably was. That's about all my ribs can handle. Again, I have a broken or bruised rib, and that was tough right there. But I'm so excited I couldn't not do it. Alright, let's go do some research. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up for the night here. It's getting pretty late, but that was definitely exciting, super exciting that we finally broke this engine free. I think I figured out why it was binding in the middle. Now, it was binding in the middle of the stroke where all the pistons were kind of in line, not as they are now, like these ones were down, those ones were up. And I think that's because I only have 2 cylinder head bolts in. Now, if I had all 8 in, 4 on each side, it would align this deck. Because remember, this is not individual liners in the block. This is a deck with 4 liners. And that's actually why people hate these tractors, is because of that deck. And yeah, you might already be looking at this. I may have warped it by only putting 2 in. That was an oversight that I've been sleeping on for a while. I hope I didn't warp that head. But anyway, so because it's misaligned like this, because of the 2 bolts, that's why they bind in the middle when all 4 are like pushing against each other. When there's 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, when it's the most free, there's enough slop in the wrist pins and on the crankshaft, potentially, is my theory, that it doesn't bind. Now, that slop is not great for the life of this engine anyway, but again, this is a 1960 1010, which is one of the worst engines, and I shouldn't have bought it. There's so many other backhoes and tractors that are better than this. They're diesel, that I could have got for just, a few $100 more. But I did pay scrap price for this. I paid $1,200, and I'm now at the stage to where I'm going to give this thing a shot. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to put some money into it for the first time in a year and a half and see if it's going to go. So a couple things I need. Need a head gasket kit. I bought a carb kit. Again, need a new fuel sediment filter. The gas tank's going to need some work, but we'll get to that. Need new exhaust flanges. I need to weld the exhaust manifold and intake manifold. I'll show you that. It's one piece. And the biggest concern is this gasket right here. Now, this is the cylinder deck with the 4 liners in it. And then this is the actual block. So there's a gasket right here, and it's like that exhaust flange gasket material. And the reason why I think I warped my head, as you can see, that's slightly higher, and this is flush. So I'm really hoping I didn't warp this top deck. Hoping I can suck it back down and it's just misaligned due to gasket compression on here and none out there. But I made the mistake. I admit it. I shouldn't have put 2 here. I should have made 8 of those. Would have taken another half hour at the most, and I wouldn't have been up against this issue. And potentially misaligning this as I broke it free, which is why I have that, I believe, why I have that hard spot in the middle. So yeah, so I'm going to try to order this gasket. If I can't get it, I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna put everything back together and try to fire it. I do also have a radiator leak, so that's another issue I gotta look into, getting that thing soldered. There's just a ton of issues with this thing. Points and the distributor and all this wiring is junk and all needs redone. And so there's a lot of stuff to work through, but hey, we're gonna give it a try. It's probably gonna end up costing me more than if I just paid $2,000 for like a case diesel backhoe, which I have seen those, and probably would have just had to replace some hydraulic lines. But instead, I'm gonna have to replace all the hydraulic lines on this, because they're all dry rotted, and do all this crazy engine work that's taken me so long to get to. So, but it's a labor of love, and at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but if it's junk, I'm probably not gonna buy a new cylinder head for this. They're about $2,000, unless I can find an engine somewhere. It's just not worth it. That would be the thing that sets me off on this. If I can't machine it flat, if I have other issues, if I can't get the pistons honed out and cleaned up, then I'm probably gonna scrap this. Hate to say that. Don't get discouraged though. We're just at the beginning, and you know, who knows what's gonna happen. So thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna pick this up later when I get some gaskets and see if we can get this thing back together and running. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll notify you when I get new videos out. I'm trying to do once a week, so stay tuned. Oh, and give me a thumbs up for restoring this old antique John Deere backhoe. Give me a thumbs up for that, please. Look at this pipe wrench.